What's going on, Internet? The Black Wukage here, aka TBH, and to be honest, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Game and Illuminati podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and there's a lot in store for episode 134. Now, if you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know this show is available on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Also, be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We need your 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify to help us push us in the algorithm to bring in new potential listeners to help grow this platform. Now, without further ado, allow me to co-host. I can't co-host. I can't talk. Allow me to introduce you to my co-host. The first of which, he's feeling a little bit sick, but he can never get sick of playing Yakuza games, seeing as he's recently completed the same game for the 8th time. How does it feel, UTX Kazuma the Don?
Hi. You can probably tell that I'm sick as hell, but I'm pushing through it because, yeah, we are late. So let's just get on with it.
Yeah, what's the name? If we could get at least this video at least to 5 likes, because JG showed up sick, we would really appreciate if we get the video to 5 likes. That would really help us on YouTube. My second co-host, he's a man of many talents, one providing deep insight into the mind of game developers, seeing as he is one. The other has been consistently late to the show. He was actually late today. Ethos, say what up to the people.
Yo, this man stays lying. You know, this is the second time you've lied about that because the podcast before this, you said the same thing.
Who's the last? When I said mic check, who's the last one to say anything, Jay?
You put his name by name. What are you talking about?
No,
that's insane. You see this?
No, don't do that.
I can't have nothing, bro. What up, everybody?
Oh my goodness, true. And today we are joined by an extended GI member. It's been a while since he's been on the show. When he's not resewing his dreads in, he's either doing triathlons or trying out new games. He's the host of the Game Reflex podcast. It's the ace of all trades. Say what up to the people, Ace.
Yo, what's good, y'all? Glad to be back. It's been a minute. It's been like, I think, over 3 or 4 years. So, hey, we back.
Yes, sir. Before we get into the show, you know what we got to do. We got to talk about the free games you're getting this month, even though it's like, goddamn, time is flying. I looked, I was like, damn, we're at the end of October. As well as like a couple like, delays, releases, reveals, all that BS. So freebies on PlayStation, you get Super Hot Wheels Unleashed and Injustice 2. Still got time to claim these games. Xbox, you get Windbound and Bomber Crew Deluxe. Never heard of them. And then on Amazon for PC, you get Shadow of War, Fallout 76, and Total Warhammer 2. There is 4 other games you get for free, but those are like the 3 notable ones I thought I'd put down. If you want to look up the other ones, feel free, but whatever. Moving on to delays, releases, reveals. Breaking news, shocker news, actually. The Google Stadia shut down. They took to Twitter this past week and announced that they'll be shutting down the servers. The good news is they will be refunding everybody who purchased it. I don't know the exact day that the servers go down, but you got a limited amount of time. If Anon's got a limited amount of time to basically beat it's January 2023, the 18th. You basically got to the 18th to beat what's that giant? He got Cyberpunk, Anon, or anybody else who's got the Google Stadia. Are you guys sad? Are you shocked by this news? This is great, riveting commentary.
Game Reflex, come on.
I mean, that's just really just. I mean, what do you want from me? I don't care. I mean, I guess if pretty much.
Whoa! You don't care that they didn't tell the developers they were shutting down? The developers, Ace, found out on Twitter that Google Stadia is shutting down, and you say you don't care? You're not a blue collar man.
We kicking a dude out the bottom already.
Yeah, you gotta go. See you in another 2 to 3 years, buddy.
I'm gonna just say this. I mean, apparently that's how businesses go. I mean, they do that for other things that go around the game.
Talk to him, Ace. Talk to him.
That's business.
Talk to him, Ace.
That's business.
Talk to him, Ace.
I'm not even.
Talk to him, Ace.
I give Cloud. Ace made it funny.
Yeah. Talk to him, Ace.
It's business. Hey.
Let him know, Ace.
To be fair, that shit don't apply to me, so I don't care.
He said I was going before that.
They kicked me out before that.
You know, it's funny. I'm glad you made a joke because I was gonna make a joke before we even got the news, but you got it. Anything you care about? You thought you care about this?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie because I can say it now. Samurai Zero might have been developed on Stadia. They were gonna maybe throw us a bag, but now I'm glad I avoided that pitfall.
What?
So yeah, I'm glad I done that.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is how they did the developers, because apparently it was like 200 different like developers, like studios or something like that found out via Twitter. That sucks that you gotta find out. It's like, we're gonna put my game.
some people I knew that were just like acquaintances in the dev space. They all were like surprised. Like I was just in like a couple like Discords, and I was just watching them like in real time find out about the news, and they were just like, "Wait, but I'm working on Stadia platform. Wait, what?" And then it was just basically chaos of them trying to get answers.
True. Jay, any hot takes?
I mean, it's messed up. It's definitely messed up that you don't let the people know that, hey, I'm going to shut down. Apparently, I forgot the dude's name, but apparently this is a trend of Google things not working and just shutting down. So I don't think that too many people were actually surprised at the end of the day that this was going downhill. Just Google, even though they're, a top tier company, one of the, top companies in the world, they apparently cannot make a lot of good products. So, this is why this happened. And I just don't think that we were ready for this. I think that one of the earlier signs I knew that this wasn't going to work was when, the 2K coons were trying to play 2K on Stadia, and they were like, nobody's in the park. Like that, you have to make this stuff crossplay. You can't just have like your own platform and expect people to just migrate to it when they're already invested in PlayStation and Microsoft and PC. So I just knew, like, once that happened, like if you weren't going to play with everybody else and make all of your games crossplay for multiplayer games, then it's just going to go downhill.
That's true. What was you about to say, Ethos?
I was gonna say that's crazy. You're telling me that a company needs to invest in its own talent in order for it to succeed, instead of trying to billow off of the back of just like quick hits and stuff like that in order to get people to try their platform? That's insane. That's a crazy thought, JC. That's insane.
Hey, we spitting today.
That's insane. All right, I'm done. I'm dropping the mic.
We're talking spicy today. Oh my lord. So yeah, Google. Shout out to Google Stadia. I never thought it was gonna succeed, but shout out to all two people who bought it. I think Siggy still got the controller. They even took it out the box. At least they're giving refunds. But to answer your question, Jay, like I remember I read a joke one time. Well, it's not even a joke; it's reality. But basically, Google is an ad company that masquerades as a tech company. The majority of their profits, most people don't know Google's profits, they come from making ads, money off of ads, and then they take that money and they reinvest it in different things. But they never really put both of their feet into everything. Like there are anomalies, like Android found success, and then maybe like the Chromecast. You'll have like anomalies, but for the most part, like you should never really trust Google products because the majority of their money comes from ads, and that's why it's true. Like they produce things and then it shuts down within a year or two later because they never really are truly invested in it like that. They don't have a reason to be. Their search engine, YouTube, it makes them so much money, ads, all that bullshit. So it is what it is.
It's not like this didn't hurt them. I don't think that this even put like a dent in their overall finances. So it's whatever.
Yeah. I was just gonna chime in. I know we were joking earlier and whatnot. Google, like you guys said, this isn't going to hurt them. This is not going to hurt their pockets. Google took over the world years ago. So financially, this is whatever to them. This is just a project that they just didn't care if it failed or not. But for the developers and people that are actually developing games for Stadia, however you want to say it, it is unfortunate because that's a lot of people that have lost their jobs potentially if they were only exclusive to this platform, which is unfortunate. And you never want to see people lose their jobs, and you definitely don't want to see them find out via social media, like Ethos said. So that's messed up. That really is. And hopefully the people and developers from that can take this as a learning situation as far as like contracts and all is concerned. Hopefully they don't have to give money that they got funded back, and just hopefully the people can get paid off. But that part is unfortunate. But as far as Stadia, who really cares? To be honest with you.
Yeah, let's talk about some heartbreaking news that we actually care about. Skull and Bones was delayed. This is the new pirate game from Ubisoft. They released a statement saying, blah, 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 blah. We need more time to make a better experience, blah, 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 blah. And it'll launch on March 9th, 2023. Are you guys heartbroken over this? Yes, I know. Let's move on to the next topic. Yeah, JJ can't even speak. He's
look. No, AKA, we don't want to battle with God of War. We messed up on that date.
Maybe
like we were saying before.
Nobody knew God of War's release date, and maybe it was just a coincidence that they launched around the same time, and then they thought about it. It's like, yeah, maybe we should move it. Like,
oh man,
that's crazy. Let me run down. So 3 games got revealed since the last podcast. I mean, we don't have to speak into depth, just whatever y'all interested in. A new game called Evercore, which I believe this one is made by some former EA devs. It's kind of like a hybrid of like a MOBA, over the top type of game, hero action Overwatch MOBA hybrid, they're calling it. They have screenshots on the website. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at that. I don't know if you care about that. Wild Hearts. This is basically a clone of what's that giant called? Monster Hunter. The difference is like they're putting an emphasis on being able to build engineering, basically building things in front of monsters and using that to kind of change the way that you fight. And then EA is reportedly working on an Iron Man game. Do any of these tickle your fancy? Yeah.
Iron Man, possibly, but
is it Anthem?
Well, I was just about to bring. I was just gonna bring that up. Go for it.
I was gonna say it'd be really funny because since EA is publishing this Iron Man game, what if they took the technology, the flying technology behind Anthem and repurposed it into an Iron Man game? Like, imagine picking it up and be like, this feels really familiar. Like,
I feel like it plays this game
no, they
before.
should do that. I absolutely say that's one of the best things they did when I think it was Respawn and Anthem. We all said it when we played it. The flying just felt great. It felt really good based off whatever mech you had at that time. So if they can bring that over to EA's Iron Man and then try to do better with the single player aspect of it, I'd be down.
Take what didn't work and what did work and then combine it and hopefully come out with like a better product. Oh, and then Resident Evil 4 and Silent Hill 2, they both got remakes, and now it's the PS5 is officially the home of remakes. They've got more remakes than actual games. Do you guys care about any of these two games?
That 4 look gas. I'm gonna play it.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 is gas, but I'm just kind of like, we're going on year 3 of being in. I mean, it's current gen at this point. It's not next gen. I'm just like, I get some games.
I'll be honest with you. I can't remember playing Resident Evil 4. Like, I played it, but I just don't remember a lot what happened.
Because you're old. It came out on the GameCube.
Yo, shut up.
That was like 20 years ago, dude.
Shut up.
In fact, let's look up the release date. Let's see. Resident Evil 4 release date.
I mean,
stop age typing me.
with all the success of the other remakes, it makes sense that they would bring this. And I think a lot of people wanted the Resident Evil 4 remake. So for the people that are like really into Resident Evil, it's cool. For the people that don't really know much about it, this is an opportunity for you to play it in modern day times. But for the people that just really don't care, I mean, it's cool. It's whatever.
Yeah,
all right.
I didn't care about Resident Evil
17 years ago.
Ooh, I hate them. I'm on my
Oh.
campaign. I'm still on my campaign.
Well,
I'm Capcom until they give me Onimusha.
Well,
Stop bringing out
JG. I'm gonna
stop
play
bringing out Resident Evil
4.
remakes.
People are buying them, so I'm gonna be one of those people.
They've been going down the line.
That's crazy.
They're gonna
go all the way through it.
Well, I think
no, they're not gonna be
Yeah,
5.
absolutely.
So Resident
They're
Evil 4
not
is
gonna be 5.
Well, no. 5 is like it has mix, and I said we might get a remake of 5. 6, I would be shocked if we got a 6 remake.
That's definitely going.
They didn't want to get away from 6.
So 6 is definitely gonna be an entire remake. They're gonna build the entire game. It's not even gonna be the same game.
Like,
Not even yeah, they're gonna completely change that game.
Oh,
to fix all those problems.
Yeah, Capcom is literally doing just all right.
But
We're gonna do
definitely
the next Resident Evil, and then we're gonna remake a previous one.
But I think 5, 100%. Because like I'm not that crazy about Resident Evil, but I did play Resident Evil 2, and I thought it was really good. So I was happy that I played it when I was able to.
I've never played Silent Hill, so I have no affinity in it. Is anybody familiar with Silent Hill?
Not really. I didn't really play it.
But I know people are excited, and some people are like acting like it's gonna be terrible. So I just gamers being gamers, I guess.
Yeah, true. So yeah, those are like some of the delays and releases and reveals that we've had recently since the last podcast. With all that foolishness out of the way, let's get into the leading conversations, the meat and potato of the actual podcast. A crap ton of games have released since the last show, and guess what? When we record the next show, it'll probably be even more games that release. We have a lot to talk about. The first of which I actually did not want to put on the show notes because I wanted to be able to get some more time with it as well as everybody else. But Jay was like, no, we gotta talk about it because it's one of the big talks of the town. There's been a lot of drama surrounding that, and it's called Gotham Knights. This is the new Batman universe game that doesn't take place in the Arkham universe. This is actually a spinoff, and it stars the Bat family, Red Hood, Batgirl, Dick Grayson, Nightwing, and then Robin. Batman has died. This is not a spoiler. It's literally the very first cutscene. And they've been talking about it for years now. And basically, it's up to them to save Gotham. It is a 2-player co-op game. It's been getting some very mixed reviews. And on top of that, right before release, it was centered in some drama because the first of all, this game was supposed to come out on last gen PS4 and Xbox One as well as this current gen, but the last gen versions got canceled. That was the first piece of drama, and they canceled it out of nowhere, kind of last minute a couple months ago. And then literally like a week ago, news came out. It was rumors that they were hiding the game was going to be locked at 30 FPS on the PS5 and the Xbox Series S. And then they finally came out and admitted that it would be. And then on top of that, when the game launched, the PC version also had like some performance issues. So on top of the mixed reviews, the performance issues across all platforms, Gotham Knights has caught itself in the hotbed. But on top of that, I've been getting some recommendations. I'm noticing on YouTube there is a small community of people defending this game that really like it. It's just a very polarizing game. You're not our host, but our guest today, Ace. So you got the floor. Give us your first impressions of Gotham Knights. How you feeling about it?
It's meh, to be honest with you. If you're a fan of the Arkham series, and I know that the team behind it said they wanted to get away from it, they did, but in a terrible way. The city is empty. I had the opportunity to play co-op with JG, and that was a good experience for the most part. It didn't lag that much. It was pretty easy to get into a game. We both have it on PC, and it's on Steam. It was pretty easy to join each other's game. But honestly, the game is just meh. I think it came out at the wrong time. Again, we get it. There was a delay earlier, so I think their hands were kind of tied. They just had to get it released, but it couldn't have came out at a worse time. Like you said earlier, there's so many games coming out right now. This game will get put on the back burner, and we'll just come back around and play it later. Sorry, too many games coming out right now. It's cool. The combat's okay. The skill tree, when you get progressed through the skill tree, the combat gets a little bit better, but it's nothing special. And to be honest with you, the Arkham gameplay and combat feels a little bit more smoother, and it feels smoother than this current game. And if it was up to me, this game would have came out, if it was well polished, it would have came out in the summer. Yeah, so yeah.
I feel that. I wrote down a bunch of notes already. I only got like maybe 3 or 4 hours on the game because I was too busy playing an actual good game, Plague's Tale Requiem. We're gonna talk about it later, but anyways, yeah, I got a few hours on the game, and I gotta say, this kind of feels like this is the new like it game to pick on. Like everybody's shitting on it on YouTube because you know how that goes. When somebody sees something gets views, they're gonna shit on it. In my opinion, it's not as bad as like people are on the internet are making it out to be, like with their pitchforks. But I do agree with Ace. It is a very meh game, a kind of game that you probably could, if you really want to play it. In my opinion, you're playing it for the story and catch it when it's on sale. It just feels very uninspired. The open world is empty. I wrote down a bunch of notes actually. The UI is fucking terrible. Going through the menus, big ass letters. It's ugly to look at. It's hard to navigate. So one thing that's different from the Arkham series is they changed the combat. There's no more counter button. Instead, they're focusing on the momentum system. There's just a dodge button. Yeah, let me finish. I'm gonna break it down for people who don't know the difference. So there's no counter in the game. Instead, they have a momentum system, and there's a perfect dodge in the game instead of countering. So I understood what they were trying to do. They were trying to differentiate themselves from the Arkham series, but no matter what they do, because it's a Batman game, it was inevitably going to be compared to Arkham. So in my opinion, they should have just built upon what they already had. But instead, with this new system, it's weird because you can do a perfect dodge in this game, but what makes it bad or weird is it doesn't reward you. If you're gonna put a perfect dodge in the game, make it like Platinum games. Make it like Bayonetta, where like it should have like slowed down time to let you get into like some extra combos. Like there's the difference between a dodge and a perfect dodge in this game is you get a whoosh sound effect, and then you can get like an uppercut in, but like it doesn't feel very rewarding. Let's see, the motorcycle, you're moving like 10 miles an hour. They just put a bunch of anime lines on the side of the screen, but it's moving mad slow. Swinging around the city's really weird, and you don't get the ability to fly around until like late game, from my understanding. So instead, you got to use a grappling hook, so it feels really weird because you grapple hook to the top of the building, then you press A to jump, and then you grapple hook somewhere else. It's very clunky, very, very clunky. On PC, the performance is not as bad compared to console. I was able to get 60 for the most part. It's just riding around the city. When the action picks up, it'll start to drop down. It's like the 40s. I'll give it this much. And this is what I be talking about when I say the YouTubers just be shitting on stuff. Arkham Knight launched in a way worse state than this game did. Arkham Knight bricked my fucking PC. I got blue screens multiple times. Yeah, this game, like, you drop frames a little bit, but it's very playable, at least on PC. I can't speak to console, but I would say Arkham Knight, people, and this kind of goes back to revisionism revisionist history. People they patch the game and then people play it later and they be like, oh, this is amazing. Like, nah, you don't remember when it first came out. In terms of performance, this is definitely better than Arkham Knight. But the biggest crime, I think, is the actual gameplay loop, which is funny because it's centered around crimes. So in this game, basically, a bunch of random shit is just happening around Gotham, and like it'll just pop up on your map. People are committing crimes, and you go and you stop the crime, and then it'll give you clues, and then once you get like 3 or 4 clues, it'll unlock a mission for you, right? This shit is boring because all the crimes are the same. It's like somebody just trying to break into an ATM, somebody trying to break into a car, and you literally get on the roof, you do a silent takedown, you get a bunch of clues, and it's like you got to do that 4, 5, 6 times in a row before you can unlock an actual mission that matters. And like that gameplay loop, I was just like, this is kind of, why can't we just play the fucking story, bro? Like, I was like, I'm not really feeling this, bro. Just fly, and like you had to hope something appears on the map. You just riding around and swinging around. I feel like I'm talking too much. Jay, you play with Ace. You can come back to me later. What are your thoughts on Gotham Knights?
Hey, I mean, you definitely talked about a lot. I think that this game shouldn't have been an RPG. I don't like the whole aspect of, hey, I can craft this new armor, or I can craft this new weapon or whatever. Like, I feel like they should have just kept that out of the game. Like, you can still level up and get new abilities and stuff, but I feel like the RPG element of crafting weapons, like that should have just not been in the game. I don't understand that part. I think one of the only good things about this game is, again, you all mentioned the story, and that's pretty much why I'm still playing it at this point. And the customization. I think that the costume that you can get are top notch. Like they all look super dope. But I think literally everything else, like I think that's probably one of the most annoying things that you mentioned already, TBH, is it's just the combat loop. Like it's just the same things over and over and over. Like it's basically just a gimmick. This whole night and day cycle is just a gimmick. It sounded cool when they revealed it, but once you actually play it, it's not. It doesn't work. It's just the same thing over and over and over, and you're not really missing anything if you don't do the random crimes and then come back to Belfry, your home base. You're not really missing anything. So it's just kind of a gimmick that just doesn't execute well once the game came out and you're actually playing it.
I think also it's like the lack of attention to detail, right? Because one thing this game does is there's like more emphasis on the detective aspect, right? Which is kind of cool, but then like it's missing that little bit of love that makes it go above and beyond. And an example is, I don't know if y'all noticed, like when you're doing these random crimes throughout the city, right? There's an interrogation feature in the game. And you can choose to basically beat the enemy's asses, or you can basically beat them up and then grab them and interrogate them, and you'll get more clues out of it. But the problem is when you interrogate the random people on the street, if you notice, every time you'll punch them in the face and they'll be like, tell me what you know. He'll be like, all right, I'll speak. And then he'll be like, and then like Batgirl goes, thanks. But the dude literally says nothing. And then you just
so the reason why that happens, and so depending on when you go on the night patrols, and this is something they kind of talk about early on, when you go on night patrols, unless it's within each case in different areas that you go in, because JG and I did it for co-op as well, unless they specifically tell you to interrogate a certain group of criminals, that's what's going to happen every single time. And it's annoying, but it's meant to be like that. It's happening as intended. Unless there's a direct initiative to interrogate a different, like the freaks or something like that on the street, they're just gonna be like, oh, thanks. But it never really happens. At that point, they shouldn't even give you the option to interrogate unless you need to actually interrogate. Because then if not, you're just gonna hear nothing afterwards.
I think this game is especially hard for me to play after I just finished beating Plague's Tale Requiem, because like the stealth in this game is so easy and just mindless. As long as you're not like directly in front of the enemy's face, you'll never, like, the game is too easy. If anybody does pick this up, put it on hard mode, because I'm like, it's rare that I feel like I'm not challenged, but I feel like I'm going through the motions because it's so easy. And then also the game caught a little bit of flack too, because literally like 3 days before this game launched, the developers announced that since day one, since this game was announced, they said that it was going to be a 2-player co-op, and people were like, but there's 4 characters in the game. Why is it not 4 players, right? Like 3 days before this game launched, the developers announced that there's going to be a 4-player mode coming to the game. It'll be basically tacked on, but it's not story. You can't play the story mode with your friends. friends in 4-player co-op. Instead, it's a separate experience. Basically, like they're calling it Heroic Assault, and from the way they're describing it, it seems like Horde mode, basically, but with 4 players. It'll launch November 29th, so a whole month after the game came out. Do you guys think that you still will have interest in this, trying this 4-player co-op once it drops next month?
No.
That one God of War.
In November, God of War, Call of Duty, Bayonetta 3. What?
Yeah, it's gone.
You've been kind of quiet. Ethos, did you play Gotham?
No, I didn't. I haven't had.
You're
the
not
time
missing
to.
much.
That's what I've heard. That's what everybody's been telling me. I don't know. I remember when the game first got revealed, and I kind of was like, I got a bad feeling about this one when they kept like saying the announcement, like the not 4-player co-op and like some of the gameplay. I was kind of like, it looks like meh. Like I'm not really seeing like what's gonna make me excited about the game. And then when the developers were talking about the clue stuff and like how you track down leads, I was like, oh, this sounds cool, but it sounds like based off of what you guys have all said, it's kind of like uninspired. It's just, you know, I really thought they'd do like more, like, you know what I mean? Like there'd be more like actual detective work in order for you to like unlock the missions. I feel like that's how it would have been better, but it sounds like they just got kind of, I won't say lazy, but you know, they got very basic and we're just like, all right, just copy paste, do these like just open world missions, and that unlocks like what you actually want to do, which is the main story missions. Do I have that right?
Yeah,
right.
It sounds like we're like ragging on the game, but like even still, I'm not gonna call it flat out shit. It's just terribly generic.
It's just mad. I think it's the same thing with after Elden Ring came out, how like that kind of like set the standard, and then like everything else that came out, all these other open world games that came out literally like the month after, like Horizon, the rest of them, a lot of them caught the similar flack, right? Because everybody was like, this is cool, like it's not a terrible game, but like your open world is kind of meh. It's kind of you know. It
doesn't really give you, it doesn't reward you because the city is so empty. And it's not really that we're ragging on the game, we're providing constructive criticism on why the game's not, it doesn't feel great to us. It's not an overall bad game. Like for people that are saying they're online, that's you're going out your way to hate on it. But I can understand why some people are just like, meh, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's also not excellent. It's not progressing things forward. And they had the opportunity, in my opinion, with these 4 individual characters to really do something different and make them very unique and make the combat even greater than what, you know, its predecessor. But unfortunately, I just think they missed the mark. And what's kind of crazy is something we didn't even bring up is the fact that they stopped development on last gen. But what good did it do that you got the console version, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, that can't even get 60 frames per second, and then you stopped the development from the last gen? For what?
I would argue them ending development on the last gen that late in the game did nothing but hurt the next gen version. Because if you really wanted to make a next gen experience, you should have just strictly built it for next gen. But because the game was built with that in mind, it held back the next gen version.
I'm gonna tell you what else it is. I bet you it's the co-op. I bet you the co-op is the reason why the game has so many optimization issues.
I think I've seen that as well, and that's why the city's empty as well too. I think
I think like them having to have 4 players, having networking, all working all at the same time, also as well as like something that's keeping track of all the AI. All the AI has to be networked, because that means every player needs to see what the AI is doing all at the same time. I bet you like resource wise, the game just got too heavy. And then on top of that, I'm assuming the publisher probably wanted, like, we need this game to look really good, really next gen.
Too ambitious, not enough time.
Not enough time, too much it's kind of like I talked about this like a couple months ago. I kind of said how I was like, all right, for like this generation, I'm sick of like I'm tired of like games that I really don't want games to come out that are just like, we just want to push a visual envelope. I was like, I don't mind games that don't visually look that impressive, but if you make like the gameplay systems really cool, like if you advance the AI and you do something new in that department or something else, I think I'd enjoy that type of game more than just like a game that just looks like visually like, oh my god, this looks crazy next gen. So yeah, it seems like that type of thing. Like they couldn't get either, right? Like they probably pushed the visuals way too far, and that screwed them over in performance. And then, you know, maybe they had to, cut back on gameplay stuff. Also, I heard things about like they basically were like, take all the like core mechanics of like what made Arkham's combat system good, and then strip them out of the game and put them behind a skill tree. Which I don't know why developers do that nowadays. Like they've been doing that for a while with some other games. I don't know why you do that. It's like the game, the combat loop, like you said, TBH, it runs really well because all these mechanics are all available to you. But when you trip something out of there, you try to hide it behind a skill tree. I feel like, yeah, that's why like things feel clunky. It doesn't feel good. Like, they should have just given you like counters and stuff like that.
I didn't even put this on the notes, but I forgot. This was also a conversation like right before the game had launched. Apparently, one of the developers on the team had said that the Xbox Series S is the reason why the performance is so bad. It was holding things back, and he caught a lot of flack because people were like, "Oh, we could do 1440p. There's plenty of games that run 60 FPS." You think there's any truth to that, Ethos?
I'm not gonna say he's a liar because I don't know. Like I don't know the engine they worked on. I don't know, you know, the rendering. Maybe like I feel like maybe they built the game kind of like
it was running on Unreal 4.
Is it really 4? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. That's what threw me off too, because I'm like, that's an old engine. Gotham,
yeah.
Like...
Okay. So this is why I don't think it's Unreal 4. If it's 4, then I'll call foul on them because 4 has performance.
Yeah, it's on. I just googled it. It's running on Unreal 4. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like it too.
Look, bro, okay, then I have to call, I don't know, they got something crazy to talk about. I'm speaking for myself only. I've had years of experience, like at least 3 years of experience inside, 3 to 4 years of experience on UE4. There are performance already out of the box. The engine has performance like options available to you in engine, like dynamic scaling, dynamic stuff. So like you can change the dynamic resolution of it and try to like hit a frame rate target. That stuff like kind of built into the engine. You could definitely build that into Unreal. Like Epic definitely has that capability with its profiler. So like for them to just like not put a 60 FPS option in the consoles, I don't know. There has to be something that however they built this game out, there must be something in the back end of this game that's just like held together with glue. Like it has to be. That's the only way I could logically like answer why they did the things they did. It's hard to say anything, bro. It's hard to you know, it's hard because it's like I need to be there and see how they develop the game itself. But yeah,
I would say this game is for like the most hardcore DC Batman fans, and pick it up when it's in the bargain bin.
Is it worth it if you have friends? Like if you had 4 friends, would it?
I haven't played co-op, so I can't speak to it. I heard it's more fun with co-op, but I don't know. Maybe JG Ace can speak to that.
JG, is it better if you play with a friend? Like if you had a friend to play with, would it be then when you say it's worth picking it up if you just want to play through a Batman story, or? Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like in my head, I'm like, if the story's really good, right? I think I could suffer through it. I think I'd be fine with picking it up. But if the story comes out and it ends on like a meh note, I'll be like, oh damn. So story's meh, gameplay's meh, performance is meh.
Yeah, JG Ace. Yeah.
I was letting JG speak.
You know he's sick.
Yeah.
Oh well, the co-op is fine. Like JG said, the story is cool. And playing a co-op, it's fine. It's cool to play co-op. But I got to remind you guys that the co-op is only 2 people. The 4-player mode is going to be something completely different. So we're not all going to be around going through Gotham and solving cases together. It's going to be like a horde mode type thing when you go through different levels, I believe. But we'll find out more in November when it comes out.
Like that?
No, the 2 players, like you can actually go around and do cases together and progress. Okay. You can progress the story. For instance, when I sent JG the invite, he joined my story. And then after we were done, he went back to his area, his world. And then it asked him, would you like to skip up to the point of where you were in your previous game?
Oh, that's good at least.
Which is good. Or would you like to start back where you were before you entered Ace's game? So that aspect is cool. But yeah, I mean, it's cool for the co-op to progress the story, but that's really it.
I give him credit for that. That's hard to do. Usually a lot of these co-op games, you know, that you get sent back to your game and like Dying Light 2, and you lose all the progress that you helped with your co-op.
Oh man,
now that co-op is terrible. That shit was
yeah.
I think what makes this game so hard to swallow is they pull the old bait and switch. The opening scene in the game is probably one of the best in the game.
Oh, it looks good
because you literally, it is not a spoiler. This is the opening scene. You literally start off with Batman fighting Ra's al Ghul, and Raja kills Batman, and it's a fire. Ooh. It's like a 3 to 5 minute cutscene, and it was fire. Them motherfuckers was going at it. He's like, oh, this shit about to be lit. And then you get to the open world, and it's like, it kind of just falls flat, bro. You can tell a lot of the production went into that opening cutscene, bro. But yeah, I'd say that it's bargain bin at best. If you skip it, it's not a flat out fuck you for me, but if you skip it, I wouldn't be mad either.
Sounds like another 343 production.
Damn. Next game I wanted to talk about on the list. Did you play this, Ace and Ethos?
I didn't have a chance to.
No,
I didn't have a chance to yet.
What is it?
Plague's Tale?
A Plague's Tale.
No, I have not.
All right, well I know
It looks
JG
good.
played it.
It's on Game Pass?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's
All
on
right.
Game Pass. It's on,
Say
that's why I played it.
less, say less.
So the next game we're talking about, real brief, is it's called Plague's Tale Requiem. This is a sequel to a game called Plague's Tale Innocence. I've been hearing about this game for a while. It came out like 2 or 3 years ago, but I just never. It looked decent, but I never got around to playing it. And I was just bored one day in that office that closed down. I was in between shoots. I was like, let me download something on the Game Pass. It was on the Game Pass for free. Innocence is not free anymore. You have to pay for it. Only Requiem is. And I was like, I remember putting it in the group chat. I was like, this Plague's Tale game is like real slept on. This shit is really fire. It's kind of the gist of the story is you play a girl named Amicia and her brother Hugo, and her brother Hugo was like experimented on, and he gets like these powers to like control rats. And there's
Hold on, bro, don't spoil.
I'm not. This is like the beginning, bro. This is nothing. Everybody knows this from the trailer. I'm not gonna say nothing like crazy.
All right, I haven't played either.
And basically the feds is on his ass.
By the way, this is from Innocence.
So I gotta play the first game.
The first game's only 6 hours. You don't have to play. If you want to watch a summary on YouTube, you can. But I mean, if you want to play, it's only 6 hours. But yeah, he gets the power to control rats.
Well, let me ask, is the second one like astronomically better than the first one?
Absolutely. We're gonna get to that.
All right, now
what was I about to say? Yeah, he gets the power to like control rats. The plague is going on, so you're just trying to escape while the feds are trying to get you and a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, Requiem is if this was Star Wars, Innocence was the first one. This is Empire Strikes Back. Like they took everything from the first game, which is pretty much just like a straight like hardcore stealth game, and this one's more of like a stealth action game. But at the same time, it's really difficult. You get way more control over the rats. Amicia gets way more options in terms of like combat. And the voice acting, this is one of the best looking games out right now. If you have Game Pass, you're doing yourself a great disjustice if you do not play this game. I would go as far as after I beat the game, I would say this is the dark horse of 2022. My only real critique is 2 things, and it sounds really weird because I don't think I've ever said this about a game. Every chapter, and this is a negative and a positive, every chapter, there's 17 chapters. Every chapter, it introduces a new gameplay mechanic into the game, right? The problem is it doesn't give you the time to master all of them. It forces you to kind of put them all together while all trying to do puzzles. And I wish I would have just had more time to kind of play with each mechanic because each chapter, it puts emphasis on that new ability while dabbling a little bit in the past ones. You kind of got to remember them. So I wish they would have slowed down that introduction of that stuff a little bit. And then in the middle of the game from like chapters, like I think it was like from like 9 to like 11, it was very cutscene heavy, kind of Metal Gear Solid-ishy. Like if they would have trimmed a little bit of that fat off, I would say this was like a 9 out of 10. But because I had a couple critiques, it's like an 8.5. This is a really good freaking game that nobody should sleep on. Very dark, just kind of showing the bad of humanity while all trying to survive and control the rats, and you get to be a savage with Amicia. Play the game, y'all. Play the game. Great stealth game as well.
Multiplayer, or is this like an Xbox?
It's I think it's a time exclusive because it's the first one's on PlayStation now, but I think it's on Xbox first. It's real rewarding to the stealth because
PC and Xbox console, like either or. I can play it on either.
Yeah. The stealth is like really it's no joke. But it feels rewarding once you actually, it gives you a lot of different options.
You know, I like stealth games. So.
Yeah, if you like Splinter Cell, like this is like your type of game. This is not Gotham Knights type of stealth where like you could be right in front of somebody and then they'll be like, oh, I thought I heard something.
Who's that?
yeah. Like you literally have to hide in corners and like make the right move. And by late game though, you get so many different like spells that you can cast because she does alchemy. It's just, trust me, it's a fire game. Ethos, you'll like it. Very puzzle heavy. Just be aware that none of the puzzles I beat the game, so you already know. I would say the puzzles were
it must be easy then.
Yeah, it must be
fuck
easy.
y'all. The puzzles I would say are a good challenge. There was nothing that I was stuck on for a super long period of time, but like I got maybe stuck at like 10-15 minutes at most on a couple of them. But it's amazing game, one of my favorite games of the year. Easy. It might be top 5 for me. You got any take on it, Jay?
I mean, when I first booted up the game is visually impressive. Like everybody was like, wow, like the game looks amazing. People were saying like it kind of reminded them of like an Assassin's Creed type of backdrop, like in medieval times. So like, okay, I kind of understand it, but like just literally like all the visuals look so dope. And you know me, I'm a terrible stealth person, but even I was able to, survive because of the combat elements that Amicia had. So for my, small time playing, like I enjoyed it and I want to go back to it. It's just so many other games coming out right now, but I know that was the one thing that just like really stood out for me. Like the game just visually looks amazing. But you pretty much hit on like all the points, and that was the reason why I didn't play the first one, because it was just like a full on stealth game, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to play this. But then when I saw Requiem, I remember when I saw the previews, I was like, okay, like if they're adding in some actual action elements, so that you can get through the villains and stuff, the enemies, then I'll play this one, and I've been having a good time so far.
The first couple chapters, it plays like, in a sense, it's more stealth heavy because you're playing as like Amicia. But once Hugo comes back into the picture, her brother, the game turns up when you start getting like rat powers and like just being able to get creative with them. I ain't gonna spend too much time on it because like I know it's one of those games. Like I wish Xbox would promote it better. Because one thing I will say is when I streamed the whole playthrough. And the whole playthrough, the chat was just like, "What game is this? What this shit is fire? What is this?" And like, I like when people do that. I'm like, yeah, y'all gotta do a better job of promoting y'all exclusives because this one, they got a heater with this one. Don't sleep on Plague Tale Requiem. It's free on the game.
How long was this one? How long did it take you to beat it?
I think on average it takes people 15 hours.
Okay.
Some chapters are longer than others. Some are like short. So, like I said, some are very story driven. So you'll see when you get to like the second half of the game. Definitely play Ethos, Ace. The First Descendant. The only person I know who's played this is JG. This is like a new looter shooter from Nexon. You got any hot takes on this?
Yeah. This game is Outriders mixed with Destiny 2 mixed with Warframe, and it looks like Paragon and Gears together. So like they put all of these games together and it doesn't do anything good. I was playing through the missions, like you got a big hub world that you go to, so that's like the Destiny 2 aspect. You have people that you talk to, that's like Destiny 2 and Warframe. You have a lot of characters that you can you have 3 characters that you can pick at launch, and then all the other characters you have to make, and that's like Warframe, because like you have to get different materials to make the characters, and then you have to wait real world time in order to actually craft the characters. So that's definitely Warframe right there. Going through the missions, like, hey, you gotta you have to fix some antennas, and then enemies are gonna come and stuff like that's all Outriders right there. Each character has powers and stuff. It's third person, so that's the Outriders aspect. It's like all of these games put into one, but none of the aspects from any of these games make this game any better. I feel like that's what they were trying to go towards, and I feel like they're just failing on that aspect. So again, the game is it hasn't come out yet. This is just the play test. It's supposed to come out next year sometime, but for the people that like looter shooters or like any of those games, I mean, you could try it out, but just in my opinion, I was just like, okay, well, this is that game, this is that game, this is that game, this is that game. But it's just like my playthrough, I just was not having a good time playing this because it just reminded me of all of the bad things from all of those games. And it was just put together in just one mess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of excited when they first announced it because the trailers made the game look really cool. And then I watched you and Nomad play, and I was like, pass. I'm good off that. And also Nomad played it, so I already know it's gonna die within a couple months after it comes out. Did anybody else get to play the First Descendant? No.
Nope.
Okay, cool. One game that Ace got to play, because I don't think anybody else got to play it yet, was the Nintendo Switch's latest game, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. This is a sequel to the Rabbids Kingdom joint. It's basically like an XCOM Mario type of game, but now there's sparks in it. Ace had a lot to get off his chest about this game. How are you feeling about Sparks of Hope? Would you recommend it to people? Why?
Oh, I absolutely would recommend it to people, especially if you had the opportunity to be able to play the first one for the Switch when it came out. I think 2018 TBH when the original one came out. We played it at E3 a while ago. Actually, yeah, so it was 2017. Wow, it's been that long. So with Sparks of Hope, I mean, they really just Ubisoft. So Ubisoft Milan and Ubisoft Paris were the ones that develop it, and then it was published by Ubisoft. They pretty much took all the great things from the original game and they went ahead and even made it better in the sequel with Sparks of Hope. So now, if you're familiar with the Mario Galaxy series, there's a lot of themes that came out of Mario Galaxy for the game, but overall, just the gameplay itself, like TBH said, it is a turn-based strategy game. So think XCOM, but Mario theme and Rabbit theme, and it just works. As far as the combat's concerned, this time around, instead of it focusing on tiles, moving the characters or whatnot, 5, 6, 7 tiles, they give you the ability to just be able to roam around when you're in battle, and you have to strategically based off the character and their unique abilities, be able to figure out how to destroy the enemies within a certain amount of turns or whatnot. And I think that's really cool, and it is really fun. It is single player, but it gives you the ability to be able to explore the planets. It's like 5 or 6 planets or whatnot, at the point where you get about 3 characters each, and they have their own unique abilities. But on top of that, you get the sparks that give you unique abilities. Like there's one spark where if you apply it to Mario and he slides into a character, you're able to apply electricity to it and just add on and whatnot. But it's a really fun game. I like this game a lot, and I'm not done with it yet, but I actually would throw it in the Game of the Year contender because they did a fantastic job with this game, and it's fun. It really is fun. So I recommend you guys try it out.
There you have it. I don't think anybody else has played Sparks of Hope, right?
Nope.
Yeah,
I'm not interested.
That's on the back burner for me. I'm gonna try it eventually, but it's too many days.
You like the first one though, TB?
Yeah. I played the first one. I liked it. I got it.
Yeah,
it's just
good.
It came out at a bad
stream
time.
game. Yeah, well, yeah, I get that too. It's a good stream game for anybody that's interested in streaming, want to talk to the chat and everything like that, but then also just have like a fun game to kind of just not really turn your brain off because you have to be strategic about it. This is a good game. This is a good game to pick up. Ubisoft deserves its flowers on that one. After all the crap GI gives Ubisoft, they did good with this one. So
they got the Mario license. It's kind of hard to fuck it up. I'm not gonna give them that much credit.
But for this turn-based strategy type thing and like the combat and everything like that, they did a really good job on it. Got to give them credit on that.
Maybe Mario can save Splinter Cell next.
Hey, matter of fact, I didn't even put this on the notes. I forgot about this. The Mario movie trailer dropped. How did I forget about that, bro? How y'all feel about the Mario movie trailer with Chris Pratt?
Minus Chris. Let's go.
They should have got the Gabagoo guy.
Peak fiction, baby.
I thought it looked good. It looked like a good.
The trailer looked
good
amazing
kids movie to me. Like,
oh no, it's gonna be fun.
I wasn't that hung up on his voice. I like really, guys. Come on, like I get it. It could be better, but like I'm not. I just don't care that much. Like,
they were right to give. They can give constructive criticism. He just sounded like he talking. Like he didn't really change his voice.
But here's the thing though. It's not like we're talking about a character that talks a lot, right? Let's keep it real here. Mario says, "Oh, no, that's me." Like he has very simple lines. It's not like he's out here saying full blown thesis and shit like that. So it's like
I get it. Jack Black sounds great as Bowser though, by the way. That was a good casting.
Yeah, the Bowser's insane.
I just like the part of the trailer, the King Penguin. I was like, wait, is that the penguin from Mario 64? I was like, oh, this is lit.
Oh yeah,
it's back for the revenge.
Movie, like everybody was already saying, yo, can they do a Mario and Sonic type thing? And I said, dear God, if they do that, that's cool, but it better not be Olympics. It better not. I'm gonna be heated. But overall though, the trailer looked fire. Go check it out. It looks really good.
Bro, you're already thinking ahead.
Yeah, man.
You have any takes?
Gotta go fast.
It was cool.
Bet. Give us your take on Warhaven. This is a new multiplayer medieval kind of conquest game from Nexon. Can you explain it?
Yeah, so it's another like crossover type of game. So this is like For Honor meets Chivalry. For Honor without the rock paper scissors aspect, and Chivalry because it's 16 on 16, so you have like conquest mode and stuff like that. It's just like all out mayhem. You have like 5 or 6 different classes, like a healer, a straight assault, a hybrid, things like that. The one big difference in this game is they have a meter, and if you get that meter all the way up, then you can pick one of 4 different like I forgot exactly what they call them, but they're like super characters or whatever, and you can turn into any one of them, and it'll help you get the momentum for your team in order to get whatever objective. So it's a lot of craziness. I do like it for that aspect, because that's the one thing I didn't like about For Honor is I didn't like the whole rock paper scissors type of combat. And this one, you're just going like back and forth, and I think it's pretty fun for what it is. It's just the whole aspect of, is the game actually going to last? But I think that this one, compared to the first Descendant, getting a crossover between like For Honor and Chivalry, it actually works for what it is. So if you like any of those games, I think that you will like this one. But it's just going to be, again, a matter of how long is this game going to last as far as like people's attention span.
We appreciate you on that one. Only problem is Nexon, so probably gonna be microtransactions out there. We'll see though. I saw you and Nomad play it, and once again, I just don't know what it is about Nomad playing games, man. I don't know. It just makes me
Stop.
Nah, jokes, it's not Nomad. It just didn't look as good as like the trailer. I was like, I'll pass on that. I don't really feel the itch to download.
Did you add that other game they announced?
What game?
That one made by the Dice devs, the X Dice devs.
Nah, what's that called? No, what's it called?
Are you talking about the finals?
The final. Yeah, the final.
Oh, the shooter with all the destruction.
Yeah, with the battlefield.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. That game looks cool. I heard some people play it. They said it's fire too.
They said it was fire. Yeah, I heard some people got access early, but they couldn't say anything or show anything. But
no camping in that game.
Yeah, definitely no camping. I mean, it looks good. So I'm excited for that one. Again, same thing like with JD. I'm terrified of
maybe that one will hit. Maybe that one.
That one looked really good.
That's a Nexon game?
It's published by Nexon, but it's made by I think it's Inverse Studio. Okay, do you remember that back when the Game Awards happened? Do you remember that other game that came out? It was like a co-op third-person game where it was like a bunch of players were trying to fight these big mechs, and they were like had jetpacks and stuff.
Fortnite?
Like co-op game.
Fortnite?
This guy.
No, it was another game. Not Fortnite. I've got the name of it, but it's the same studio. It's like two of their projects they're working on, and it's made by people who were like they were part of Dice EA, and they all left. Like a group of them left, and they made this new like studio.
Yeah. So the developer and the publisher says Embark Studios.
Yeah, Embark. That's it. Yep, Embark. And look, this one I think is Nexon, and I think that's the only thing I'm terrified of is like them making terrible monetization choices. But other than that, the gameplay looked fire. It reminded me of BF3 a lot. So.
I am so upset. I can't believe I forgot to put this on the podcast notes too. Did y'all see that they added Black Adam to Roblox?
Oh my god.
Excuse me.
Next.
What did I do? I just said that. Oh
Next.
my god. I'm just trying to talk about. Nah, let me show you the trailer real quick. Just go ahead and drop this in the mods. Just show you. But the gameplay looks really good. I'm just like anybody who plays Roblox who listens to this. First of all, you're probably a pedo, but second of all,
hey, yo.
The Rock is now, Black Adam is now in Roblox. You can shoot lightning in 360p if you want to.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna run down the list of these games because I don't think anybody played these. Overwatch 2, did anybody play this?
You mean Overwatch 1.5?
Yes.
1.3.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, who said yes?
JG.
I played it.
What'd you think?
It's Overwatch 1. I didn't see a difference. It's just
it's 5v5. There's 5v5. It's one less.
Yeah. It's
one less person to experience the mid.
Long queues, long queue lines. 40,000 people.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I did not see a difference at all.
It's more Overwatch, man.
I'm good off of that game. Did anybody play the Modern Warfare 2 campaign?
Nope, I'll be playing this week.
Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, there's too many games coming out. I was like, I didn't get to it. What about Marvel Snap? Did anybody play that?
Absolutely, I'll beat everybody at it.
So like, what makes Marvel's? Because I got it downloaded, I just haven't gotten around to playing it. I seen Nomad playing it too. I was a little afraid he might kill that.
Stop pushing this narrative.
It's not a narrative. It's a fact. But what's the name? Got 30 hours on the game already. Chaos. I was like, yo, he said his
Jesus.
Heat. Yeah. Bruh. So wait, what makes Marvel Snap different from like other card games, Ethos?
So it's very simple. So it's not like a hard card game. The main reason why I think it works so good is because some of the people working on it were the same people behind Hearthstone for Blizzard. So they went off. Yeah, they were like, oh, okay, we'll do this. But the main thing is that the way they mix it up, it's very simple. So basically, you have these like 3 locations on the board, and they're like Marvel, like from the comics. They're all like locations that are in the Marvel like universe. So each of these locations can have like a specific effect that happens in that location, and like as the match goes on, it reveals these like the 2 other locations. So you see one location, and then you see 2 others that are hidden, but as like the match goes on, it reveals what those things are. So it kind of has like a surprise element. So what your job is basically is you want to like control that location with a higher number. So each of the like Marvel characters you play as has like a number and a play cost, and each turn you gain like the resource needed to play like a said card with that resource cost. So your job is basically to own 2 out of the 3, or basically have the majority of the 3 zones, kind of like a domination. And if you do at the end of the 6th round, you basically win the entire match. And that's basically in the nutshell. Each of the Marvel characters, some of them can have special abilities. Like when you play them, they might like, buff their allies. They might like assassinate an enemy. They might make you discard a card, draw a card, like all that sort of stuff, like card play stuff. And the cool part is like usually like a lot of the characters, like their abilities are actually based off of their like comic book abilities. So like for example, Wolverine, right? If you end up like discarding him, or if he ends up dying, he just regenerates basically next round in a new location. So he kind of fits his like special ability of like being able to regenerate himself. And like Magneto's in it. So like some of the most powerful Marvel people there are these like really powerful like in-game cards that some people can get, and you can build your own deck and you play against each other. It's really good. It's kind of like, I know I'm explaining it might sound a little confusing, but when you like play through the tutorial, you're like, oh wow, this is actually really simple.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, that's why I think it works. It has Marvel IP, so I mean, like a lot of people have connections to the cards, and then so far from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything that's felt very pay to win in the game. Like you could pay for like skins of the cards that you buy, but the way that you unlock cards is through progression. So every time you play the game, if you win, you get this like resource, and then you can use that resource to basically level up the cards that you already own. And as you level up these cards, when you level them up, it doesn't level up like the gameplay mechanics. So it's not like if you level up, you have like a level 4 version of Spider-Man and I have a level 1 version. It's not like they're different. They're still the same. It's just visually it does different stuff. But as you level up these cards, you'll get experience points for this like skill, like this progression. And as you level up this like pretty much almost damn near infinite progression, like leveling system, you'll unlock new cards by random. And then you'll get new cards. You'll build your deck. You know, you can build a certain deck theme, you know. And so far, like I'm really early on. Like I'm a silver right now in rank, but a lot of it right now
What a nerd.
Well, I'm sorry, it only has rank. That's all I can play is rank. So
okay.
everybody plays rank basically, yeah. And so like right now, I just think I'm just still like low on the totem pole yet. So all I see is people really just building, you know, what the best card power wise that they can put in their deck, and then, you know, evening out the, you know, the resources needed to play them. But I feel like based on the cards, like Blade's in it. Blade has a card and something else. Like as you get bigger, like in level, and you get newer cards, you'll start to like actually form like actual synergies with your deck that like work together and, you know, pop off and do some cool stuff.
What would you say is like the average playtime for a game in Marvel Snap is?
Oh Jesus, like less than 5 minutes.
That's what I like to hear.
If you're fast, yeah. If your opponent's slow or taking their time, it might take longer. But I don't think I've ever had a game go past 10 minutes. Not once. Usually, you just, you know, real quick.
That makes me want to play it.
Yep. And then
that's a
you know, play
game.
a match. Yeah, pretty much. If you're just waiting for something, just boom, play a game real quick, get off.
Bet.
Nice.
And Marvel, for those of you unaware, Marvel Snap is available on
Steam too.
It's on PC as well as phones.
Nice.
It's cross progression, right? And crossplay, I think.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Yeah, so there you go, and it's free. So give it a try if you guys want a new, you know, card game to check out. Moving on to the news side of the podcast. One of the biggest stories since the last podcast is Bayonetta 3 is about to launch, and right before the launch, the voice actor of Bayonetta 3 hopped on Twitter and released a video where she revealed that they were only trying to pay her she said verbatim, they were going to pay her only $4,000 to play the role of Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3, but then articles came out countering what she was saying, reporting that actually she was offered $3,000 to $4,000 per session, and I think it was like 5 sessions, and people did the math and it was like $20,000+. So basically she lied. What's the name? So then it kind of created this whole conversation around first of all, when her video came out, the internet kind of just rallied behind her. I was like, oh, how dare them only pay that? Then the conversation shifted to, well, she lied, but then also is $20,000 enough to play this character? I'm curious to hear what's everybody's hot take on this whole situation. Ethos, I think you got some good insight on this. How you feeling about this?
Me and Siggy were talking about this last week about when they, like, as in real time when it was happening. It's tough because I don't have the experience of, you know, being behind like a multi-million, you know, dollar game franchise yet. But so like, don't get me wrong, like I think it's, when it first came out, I was like, yeah, that's really fucked up. 4,000. Like, I was surprised by the number, because I was like, just based off of what I've paid for Samurai Zero sometimes, like if like calculating budget wise, I was like, I would have paid probably around there for like, not just like, not one person exclusively, but like for like a couple of voice. Like that number would have made sense for like maybe an indie or like a middle, like a lower middle, like type of like game project. I was like, okay, that would make more sense to do like for the whole game. But like, for a AAA, I was like, yeah, that's really insulting. I'm not gonna lie to you. But then like there was reporting that like,
can I play devil's advocate on that one point real quick though?
Sure. Yeah.
Is Bayonetta 3 really a AAA?
Yes. 100%.
It is. It is
100%.
absolutely.
I think maybe and maybe from like a production standpoint, but like
Platinum Games is a AAA.
But Bayonetta's never sold well. That's the point I was trying to get at. And maybe that's what Nintendo was trying to get at. Like they're trying to play business here.
But you're still Nintendo, and
You're still
at the end of the day, Nintendo is bankrolling your game because they're financing the game, and so they're paying for this game to get made. So if you have Nintendo behind you, I'm pretty sure you don't have your budget's not some small little budget, especially for Bayonetta 3, especially get that thing to run on the Switch. I highly doubt it's a small budget for that game. So yeah, that then like there was the whole thing like what you said, right? That there was like I don't know that she was like it was 4,000, then it was like oh no, then people were like trying to throw stuff at Jennifer Hale, which I think was terrible because there was no reason why she had to even need to be involved in that because it's like what does she have to do? She was
that's the woman that they recasted, right?
That's FemShep.
So hold on, let me
she's known in the community.
Let me add context for people who haven't heard the story too.
She's like a god tier. She's a god tier.
Yeah, so let me add context for people who haven't heard. Just to add one more thing to the story for the listeners, she got dropped and recasted by FemShep, the other voice actor. So now that's why they're calling for boycott. And to add one more layer to it, reports came out that not only was she asking for a shit ton of money, but she was asking for royalties on Bayonetta as well. Yeah. So she wanted money on all the sales. But go ahead.
She wanted money on all the stuff. Yeah, and the thing, and this is where I agree with you. Before that had come out about like the report of the saying that that's not what our sources are telling us what happened. Again, none of this is like fully confirmed. All we know is Platinum hasn't straight up. Unless something's been updated and I haven't heard about it. I have not heard Platinum straight up like show evidence. I think they've said like, hey, this is not accurate, but I don't think Platinum has shown like any straight up evidence yet. But then again, the same argument applies to the original VA. It's like if this was truly the case and they were going to do this to you, show the receipt, right? Like show the receipts. And like I know
there should be like what's the word?
Email correspondence,
transactions,
legal
fees.
Contract. Yeah, the negotiations. Like there was definitely negotiations. And the thing that I told Siggy before this news had come out that people were like the stories aren't adding up was I said, Siggy, I don't know why something doesn't make sense. Something doesn't smell right simply because if it was true, if they were trying to lowball their voice actor, why would they go up and get a higher tier voice actor? No disrespect to the original, but like she's not even close to like from a caliber level of like a like renown and like reputation. She's not even like in the same tier as like Jennifer Hale. That's like I said that was like that'd be like having like Klay Thompson and then like you like dumping him off your team and getting like Kobe. That's literally like an equivalent, I would say. And it doesn't make sense. Like why would they pay you, offer you less, and then pick somebody who obviously would cost a lot more? But then when you fit in the whole piece of, well, actually they offered you 4K per session, which I think, just in my opinion, my for the caliber that she was in, for the project she was in, I think that's a fair deal. I don't think that's terrible.
Also, to give more context, that's like a week's worth of work. Like this is not like, because I feel like if people are taking this story out of context, that's not an annual salary. That's like 4 days worth of work.
It's 4 days. A lot of VAs work differently. They don't work like us, like a lot of people that just do like 9 to 5 type thing, and it's like they're paid like that. Usually, like my experience, I've worked with professional VAs too. A lot of it comes down to session time. So you pay for like their like a amount of time for their session, and you say, all right, we'll pay you X amount of dollars so for this session, and we'll get into like basically the booth, and you'll record what you need to within that time, and then we'll discuss like what the things we need recorded from you, and if there's anything like we need you to start screaming and doing some like combat stuff, then there might be like a premium price you have to pay for that, because obviously they don't want to strain.
It can hurt your voice, yeah.
Exactly, and that's their golden goose. They can't afford to like cause that damage, which is a lot of people are very accepting, like, okay, we'll work with you. But to say that you're gonna get that and then there's gonna be 5 sessions, which makes sense for a game like Bayonetta that like takes that long. Like how long? Usually they're what, like 6-hour games, TBH? Yeah.
Bayonetta 2, from what I remember, was like 14 hours something. It's not long.
It's not bad.
It's not long.
Too
It's
long.
a decent long.
Okay. Yeah, I would say like overall, they probably within 5 sessions. I don't know how long these sessions would have been. Pretty sure they wouldn't have been super long, but like 5 sessions, if they're a couple, like an hour, like not an hour, but like a couple hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. If it's like 2 hours out long, I'm pretty sure they could get through a majority of her lines by that point.
Yeah, according to howlongtobeat.com, Bayonetta 2 is 9 hours.
Okay, yeah, even shorter. Yeah, so yeah, if Bayonetta 3 is going to follow the same thing, let's say 10 hours, then yeah, that 4 to 5 sessions with 4K a piece, you know, you're hitting 20K. Again, like you'd get that money potentially, like, okay, if we just say for rest and stuff like that, let's say within the span of like maybe 2 months, like every week or every other week, you do a session or something like that, or we do every week, we run one session. Yeah, you'd probably get $20 like in less than 2 months, which is pretty damn good. But like a lot of things that people have to understand about VAs is that they're constantly getting like more work. So it's not just like this is the one thing they have to do. They usually do a bunch of different jobs. Like Jennifer Hale doesn't just do one character. She's not just Femshep from Mass Effect. She's a bunch of other characters in cartoons, you know, animations. This is how like they get paid, like pretty much throughout their voice work. Yeah, they're actors. They have to act. An actor doesn't pick one movie, and like there are maybe one that like hits like a breakout, like Star Wars, right? Like if you got into Star Wars as Mark Hamill, you're pretty set. Like he still went on and did other movies, but like he hit the golden goose. But the thing is, Bayonetta is not a Star Wars. Like you said, TBH, it doesn't sell as well. I think second one undersold like only 1 million or just under 1 million. So it's not like a big from a sales standpoint. It's not like
it's a cult classic, but it's not a mainstream game.
Exactly. So it's insane in my eyes when I heard the rumor that she wanted 6 figures, and then that even I was like, that's kind of insane. That's kind of wild.
Maybe she doesn't know that the only reason Bayonetta exists is because Nintendo paid to keep it alive, because the franchise ain't supposed to be alive anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll say this from an acting like from a point of view, I get it. When you want like residuals and everything like that, that's fine. Totally understandable, especially if your voice is going to be used and whatnot. You've been there since the beginning when it comes to the series, whatnot. I mean, it depends on your contract. It depends on your management. So if she had an issue on how things went on the first two games, and she wanted to be able to get a little bit more based on, I mean, there's a third game, so clearly there was some type of success. That's when she goes to her management and they talk about it and go over. And plus, like you guys said, she is a voice actress. She is an actor. So I'm sure she's part of, if she's not part of the Screen Actors Guild, she is part of some type of union for voice actors.
That's the thing. I don't think she is.
Oh, okay, then that's part. But that's a personal problem. That's part of her problem.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
her management should have gone to Platinum directly and be able to try to renegotiate her contract.
Apparently they did. That's the thing. They did.
And she decided to break NDA, so that's on her.
So this is the thing. This is where I said it didn't make sense, because Jennifer Hale is a union union-backed voice actor. So it wouldn't make sense if they were if she tried to make this whole like this is why I hate to say it, like I feel like she's not being 100% truthful, because if she was trying to make this whole argument that like, oh, they're picking on me because I'm not union, you know, or because, you know, they can cut me out of this because I'm not a union and da. Obviously in your union you have more protections and you can fight for better pricing, right?
Exactly. So yes, you
why
can.
would you go to literally the god tier? Why would you go to ready to like the top cream of the crop? You go to Jennifer Hale, who's in a union, like one of the biggest voice acting union. Why would you go to that? And you know, it just doesn't make sense. None of it doesn't add up. As much as I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, it's like the whole trust but verify thing. Like the verification isn't, the 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 for you. Like, and I feel like she has to either, I'm not gonna say she's a liar. I would never want to do that without, like, you know, without pure, like, you know, something more evidence, because we just don't have it. But I would say right now, like, it's not adding up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what you're saying and what you're not showing us.
Your audio ain't matching your visuals.
Yeah, your audio ain't matching your visuals.
Yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate too, because I feel for her and she feels like she's being underpaid. There's certain ways and things that you can be able to do. And hey, if that didn't work and when it's unfortunate, then hey, you take a step forward. I say that she's right to speak up on how she feels, but where she's wrong and where she messed up, if it's alleged that she did lie on her session, the number, she's wrong on that. But then she's also wrong to ask fans to boycott the game, because what does that have to do with Jennifer Hale and the rest of the people that helped create the game? That's not right on her to ask people to do that, because if she got mistreated, I understand and I feel for her, and she should take that up with the right people and do all that. But that doesn't mean that you try to affect the other people's pockets. There's ways that you can go about it. And the fact that she broke her NDA, I'm sure she has an NDA. She signed a contract on what potentially she was going to get paid. The fact that she broke it and she's not part of a union, it's gonna be very tough
Maybe she did it.
for her to come back from this.
I'm gonna go ahead and
It's
give
gonna be very
the asshole hot take here.
Go for it.
For people who don't, not only did Bayonetta not sell well, don't get me wrong, Bayonetta 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
It's
but
fun.
I can recognize that it did not sell well. It's a cult classic. It's not a mainstream game. But then on top of that, what people who play Bayonetta, and I'm confident in saying probably about 95% of the Bayonetta community, we play the game for the gameplay. Nobody plays that shit for the story. So she's fighting an uphill battle on top of that, because I'm gonna tell you, if you lined up 10 Bayonetta fans, I guarantee you 8 of them couldn't tell you what the story is. I can't tell you. People like Bayonetta as the character because she's fucking cool, the combos you could do, and she's sexy, bro. Even the women that I know that love Bayonetta, they just like her because she's sexy, bro. But ask somebody what Bayonetta, I cannot tell you what the fuck that game is about. So like, she's fighting an uphill battle as the voice actor, because I don't think people have that fixation and affinity with the character. And then on top of that, the articles coming out kind of countering what she was saying. Her audio ain't matching the visuals, bro. It's one of those things that's like, I feel like this is a case of you got to pick your battles. I don't know if this is the best one.
Yeah, agreed.
Jay Quiet, any hot takes on Bayonetta?
Prayers to all those involved.
There you go.
This man sounds like a true Southern gentleman now. That's crazy. You've been in Orlando for a long time. I still will be streaming Bayonetta 3 when it comes out.
yeah. I can't say that I'm gonna.
I've been waiting since the Wii U. I'm good.
I'm not boycotting. I'm sorry, I'm not boycotting.
Yeah, I'm not boycotting that. Because the way she did it was wrong anyway. Like, no.
It is what it is. Will you guys be boycotting Sony? Sony says that their customer service is only for Sony ponies. Now, that's not exactly what they said.
I mean, I play games, so I ain't got to worry about it. I got priority.
So
play your games.
It's been revealed that customer service will be given priority to people part of Sony's PlayStation Stars program, which is a premium paid experience. You'll get priority on customer support. Not regular customers will get customer support, but if you're part of the PlayStation Stars program, you'll get priority. How do you guys feel about that? It got a lot of flack online.
It's the same for the consoles. Because you remember when the digital lines were going around for the current gen, we're not saying next gen anymore, for the PS5s, you can link your PSN, and based off that, you might get a potential email. So play your games. I don't know. It's just funny. Who cares? It's funny.
This is one of those things I'm like, why is the internet so mad? And here's the reason why I say,
exactly.
Okay, PlayStation Stars people will get premium access to customer service. My question is, how often are you niggas calling into customer service about your PlayStation?
Right.
Right. Like, clear that dust and roaches out your PlayStation, bro. There's nothing wrong with it. You just need to clean it. Like, people just getting mad about anything. I'm like, how often are y'all calling customer service? I don't get it.
Yeah, I would think that would be a problem if you have to constantly call customer service, right? So,
agreed.
But at the same time, like, if you are only playing your PlayStation and you've invested that much time, then I guess you would need priority. So that's why I think that it would make sense. It's nothing to get upset about. Right.
Okay. Make sure to get that premium customer support for that Samurai Zero. PlayStation boss Yoshida, he said that he does not believe that subscription services are the future, but premium releases are. Basically the gist of what he was saying in this article is that he doesn't believe in releasing kind of like their AAA games on their PlayStation Plus tier things or whatever, because he wants to focus more on just releasing premium experiences. He thinks it waters everything down when you put it a part of like the subscription service. Like, what do y'all think about that?
Oh, so Sony's going to continue fighting this, huh? This is the second time they said
Sound
the
like
same
bullshit to
thing.
me.
He's selling $70 games.
Did y'all read these niggas mad, bro? Shit, I read that. I'm like, what is this dude talking about?
Tight. He's fucking
He's mad.
He's tight. He's tight. He about to lose Call of Duty. That's what that is.
That's all it comes
They've been
from.
talking about that again. They still talk about that.
Yeah.
This is why competition is good. You do not have to like Xbox, but what Xbox is doing is making Sony salty, and at some point they're gonna have to give in, because everybody, I don't say everybody, but most people agree that PlayStation Plus new tiers is trash, bro. We don't want to play fucking Ape Escape and Siphon Filter, bro. We want to play God of War Ragnarok on the subscription service. Also, Sony as the company doesn't have anything to do really that much with the development. That's Sony Santa Monica or whoever, or Insomniac. Those are the studios, unless they actually own the studio. That's different. So to say, oh, we're focused on premium experiences, if it was on the past, it would still be premium. What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Exactly. They just talking.
they still want people to pay $70.
Yeah.
Game instead of getting it on the game.
We put it on PC, guys.
They're
Come
just
on,
talking.
come on.
Yeah. They're just talking.
We put it on PC, so we gave you
Tell
that.
me make a
That's crazy
Bloodborne
to think.
remake. I want them to suffer every year. I want Xbox so they do that shit.
Speaking of that, just a quick segue. This came out like 30 minutes ago. Apparently, Sony put out a like the Sony Twitter. They put out a picture and they said what they did like a huge zoom in. They said, "What is this game?" And people quickly found out that it was Bloodborne, and then they deleted it.
Deleted it? Yeah, it ain't.
Yep. So everybody was like, "What the fuck, Sony? Like, why are you doing this? Because
never
you
play
want a
that game.
Bloodborne reveal."
I will never play that game until it runs 60 FPS or higher. No, thank
That's
you.
facts.
Same
here.
same.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you for that.
I'm not playing with them frame stutters. I'm not gonna torture myself like
But
that.
yeah, going back to this, bro. Sony is so fucking pissed about this this Call of Duty stuff. If next year this deal actually goes through with Activision Blizzard,
It's gonna go through.
Sony's gonna have to try to. They're gonna have to try to come out with their own FPS because
Have you
I don't think
read?
Activision's gonna do it.
Finally.
Have you read some of the arguments they've tried to give to the regulators about why it's not fair and it's
Not what they say.
anti-competition? Dog, they are
It's
acting
great.
like dog. I honestly, it's the most fascinating, just like a business like drivel I've ever like read. So basically, they made the argument and said that Xbox would so Xbox made a deal. Remember, like Phil was like, "All right, bro, I'll make y'all a deal for the next when we take this shit from y'all for at least the next 3 Call of Duties. We'll still make sure it's still on PlayStation. Like we'll still guarantee it'll still on PlayStation." And then it was like, "That's not fair. We wouldn't have enough time to build competition." So not only were a lot of people pissed at them for that, saying that like, "Wow." That kind of shows that you have no faith in your own current developer studios, that you believe that none of them can produce something as quality as Call of Duty of all things. Like as if none of their things else. So here's the crazy thing. There was a rumor that happened that there was supposed to be a state of play that was supposed to happen in October, the week before. That was the thing that we just saw with like Final Fantasy and stuff. It was supposed to come out earlier, like I think October the 20th. And so about 3 days ago, and it never came out that day. And this is just all rumor, so it could be lied, but the source has been reliable a couple times. They said the reason why was because Sony was a little bit scared that the games that they were going to show during that release date, because they have Final Fantasy that's exclusive, they locked that exclusive down to their console, that they had so many of these games that were console exclusives or timed exclusives on their console that they thought that it would just give Microsoft more ammo to say that it's fair competition, because look at them taking all these games as exclusive and now they're showing it to the base, and then they could just literally pull up the comics and the positive reception to it and just be like, look at this, like their fans are happy about this, and none of this has to do with Call of Duty, so why are you complaining about this? And I say it so many times on Twitter, it's so hypocritical to me. Yes, Xbox had time exclusives too. I get that. There's nothing, I totally understand that. That's not the argument. The argument is to say that Microsoft wasn't crying when they were getting the shit kicked out of them last gen. They weren't crying about, oh, Sony exclusive Final Fantasy 7. They have still cucked Microsoft of using Final Fantasy 7 for
Yes,
how many years has it been? Like
It's been years.
almost 5-6 years, and I guarantee they probably keep redoing re-upping the contract like a damn ball player, not saying no, you ain't going nowhere. And they're not gonna let Xbox get their hands on it. They finally let go of Persona, and I think what's gonna happen here is it's wild to me that they did the same thing to Call of Duty. Like even Modern Warfare 2 has exclusive content only available on PlayStation 5. You can't play it on PC. Like the only operator scanning a bunch of content, so they're already being hypocrites. Like right now, this week, and then in 2019, they took they were like, there's an entire game mode remember that survival game mode? It was exclusive on PlayStation for the whole year when it came out. No other platform could play that entire game mode. And what's wild is they told Brazil, they were like, the only way we would allow Xbox to put Call of Duty on the Game Pass is they would have to promise us that the Xbox version wouldn't have better graphical options or look better, so console parity. And then they also said that it would also not be able to have different content than the PlayStation version. And I was like, bro, how stupid, like, I don't know, how terrible can you be to like literally do that exact same thing to Microsoft and then be like playing the victim basically now that like the shoe's about to be flipped? It's just insane to me.
Truly tragic.
Sony's
Truly tragic. You live long enough to become the villain, guys. You live long enough.
Hey, remember we said that shit?
Mm-hmm.
When they didn't let us into that and we said, yo, Sony's a bunch of villains. We called it years ago.
Speaking of villains, according to reports, the kid that's been accused of allegedly hacking Rockstar leaking Grand Theft Auto 6 has been found. Basically, he's a kid based out of London or somewhere in England. I think it says London in here. He's part of a hacking group, they say, known as Last Puss. What is that doing for you guys?
Grow up. Grow up.
No, LASPUSS, and they spell the S's with dollar signs. Last Puss. I'm being dead ass serious.
Well, they deserve to get thrown under the jail for that and releasing stuff like that and getting 6 figures to the source code, because you know how dangerous that is and like what they have to do for it to potentially move forward. I mean, you're gonna get into it, but yeah.
Yeah, apparently he's 17. He appeared in Specialist Youth Court in London. He's been accused of hacking Rockstar, Uber, Microsoft, Samsung, Nvidia, a bunch of like big tech companies. And allegedly, he was accused of holding them for ransom by hacking their systems and leaking info. I think what's crazy about this story is how quickly they found this kid.
I'm not surprised. It's Rockstar. You know how much money they make?
But hold on, man. Okay, so this story is just interesting to me because there's so much evil shit going on in the world. And this dad leaks a video game, and the FBI went across the pond and got his ass, and now he's in court. But I'm not trying to justify what he did. I just like, okay, over Grand Theft Auto 6, got bigger fish to fry. So what do you guys think is gonna happen to him, bro?
It's a serious thing.
I mean, if he's lucky, Rockstar will hire him because that's usually what happens.
Yes.
Yeah,
or the government.
Or the government.
But since he's from London, they would work for their government then, I guess.
Give me MI16.
He would be something. I mean, hey, I think that he needs the correction. He needs to know the consequences of his actions. But it's clear this kid is his group is very intelligent. You just can't hack a multi-million-dollar company like that. Because that's a fault on cybersecurity for the IT groups that own Rockstar and everybody that's involved. So clearly the kid has some skills, but he needs to be able to know the error of his ways. And if he can be able to actually truly learn from this, it could be a lesson learned, and then he can get a job from it and do better and do great things with his talent. Because he clearly has talent.
This is funny though, because going back to what TBA said, why did it take Rockstar for them to go over the edge? If they hacked Uber, Microsoft, Cisco, Samsung, Nvidia, and Okta, why was it Rockstar?
Because Rockstar don't play no games, bro. They were like, yo, you leaked. Because come on now.
I would imagine hacking Uber is far more dangerous than hacking GTA 6.
I get it. But
bro,
what made
Cisco.
more? Well, I mean, what do you think made more though? Seriously, if you look at everything like that, Rockstar was like, nah, bruh, because GTA 5 is still making tons and tons
bro,
of
I really
money.
want to put this in perspective. Like, if this kid allegedly actually hacked Uber, this man could have hacked into Uber's app and fucked up every driver's GPS, have everybody going across the goddamn globe, getting into car accidents and shit, getting lost, running out of gas. But then they drew the line at, oh, whoa, you just told the world it's gonna be in Miami? No, Grand Theft Auto 6, we gotta get him the fuck out of here, man. Like, what?
Priorities, right? Video games.
That's a watchdog shit he was on, bro. This is wild.
Oh yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
Just goes to show you the priorities of the world, man. It's goofy as hell, man.
Yes, sir.
I still need y'all to hack Navi, bro. Just hack Navi and nail that.
Allegedly.
Loans. Allegedly, of course. But yeah, do it.
We not getting blamed if something happened.
Not allegedly. Do that shit.
Anarchy.
Johnny Silverhand that shit, bro.
You know who's trying to stop hackers? Modern Warfare 2. They're gonna be requiring. You like that segue, by the way? You like that segue? Yeah.
That was at least 8 out of 10.
Years of experience.
Come on,
Let's
man.
go.
Come on, man. I can't believe I lost my job. Anyways, so yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is now going to be requiring, the new one is going to be requiring phone numbers in order to access the multiplayer. They want to prevent hackers. So basically they're trying to tie a phone number, IP address to your account. So if you own some bullshit, they know exactly who to block, so you cannot get back on there. And they already made it clear that burner phone numbers are not going to work. So you cannot use a Google Voice phone number or like a burner phone. I don't know how they're going to track that, but you are going to be required. And I think this is going to become a trend in gaming because I first seen this a few months ago with that game Super People. It's basically like PUBG, but with superpowers. People were like, "Oh, you should check out Super People." So I downloaded it and I tried to play it on stream. And then when I booted it up, it asked for my phone number. I said, "Oh, fuck no," because that game, I think the developers are like from like China. I was like, "Nah, y'all can't, y'all not get my phone number, bro. CCP is not fun to get my info." So I was like, I uninstalled that shit. That was the quickest uninstall ever. I guess I'm more comfortable with Activision, but then even still, like, I don't know. Y'all think this is actually gonna stop hackers and cheaters and shit?
Yes and no. I get the practice, and I think the practice is. I think they're trying to do some stuff in the right direction, but we'll see how much it stops hackers when Warzone 2 comes out, where that's a cesspool of hackers. So I think they have their mind in the right place, though. But I don't know how well the execution is going to be.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they stopped it because when the beta was going on, there was a hacker that already announced that he's working on a hack and he's almost done with it. It'll be ready for sale by the time the game comes out. And he actually showed like a working demo in the video. The clip went viral and I was like, oh my God, bro. So just be prepared for people to snap to you, which by the way, Overwatch is being run by hackers too. I've seen clips on Twitter of hackers just snapping to people in Overwatch too. So I mean, it's out there. They claim they got a new cheat system for Modern Warfare 2. They say it's the most advanced thing ever, but I mean, as a salesman, that's what you're supposed to do. Seeing is believing for me. But just don't be shocked when Modern Warfare 2 drops, chat, and it asks for your phone number, because it is going to ask for it. But yeah, that's that. Will Samurai Zero be requiring a phone number, Ethos?
No comment at this time.
Fair enough. Could we talk a little bit about this Sonic Frontiers combat trailer?
Let's go.
Sonic Frontiers dropped a new trailer that focused on combat. It's like 3-4 minutes long. I personally didn't really care about it that much, but Ace just hit me up via DM and he was like, "Bro, I just got this burning desire to talk about Sonic Frontiers. Did you see the new trailer?"
I did not say that.
I'll be back.
I mean, I can read the messages if you want. What's the name? He's just like, "I gotta talk about it. I gotta talk about it, TV."
All right, this guy.
So your Sonic tattoos glowing. New trailer, combat. How you feeling about Sonic Frontiers, Ace?
I just think, and this is not necessarily a shot at IGN. This is more a shot at Sega themselves directly. I think that the rollout for Sonic Frontiers has been absolutely terrible, and the initial rollout was really bad, and it turned a lot of people away. The people that were even thinking, hey, maybe a Sonic in 2022 might work, not just for movies but for a video game. So the rollout's been terrible, but after how the terrible rollout went out, we've actually got some really great things seeing out in the open from Sega when it comes to the gameplay, from the combat, from the more of the immersed world of Sonic, and what is to come when this game comes out, which is going to be relatively soon. And I just think that it's very unfortunate because Sega, doing Sega things, continues to push away people that might be interested in this game. Now, the combat that came out for Sonic Frontiers goes a little bit more in detail of what to expect from Sonic. Now, this isn't going to be your typical go across the screen Sonic game. You're going to have a skill tree, which is very new. And you're going to be able to have different abilities that you're going to be able to acquire that's going to make your combat and gameplay with Sonic Frontiers very unique to how you play, and how you decide to upgrade Sonic, and it's going to help you to be able to traverse the world. So it's going to be a lot of great things from like games of like Sonic Unleashed, when it comes to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and you're gonna be able to go somewhat fast, but then this is going to be something that's different from Sonic, and this is a new direction that Sega is trying to go in. And at this point, when it comes to Sonic Frontiers and Sega in general, this is a make or break the Sonic franchise, in my opinion. If this game doesn't do well, that's it. Either you go back and you do games like Sonic Mania, which is fan made, by the way, or you just let Sonic go. Do movies, that's it. So that's all I really had to say.
I disagree. As long as the movie sells well, they're gonna keep making games. What are you talking about?
But why? Why make games? So you can get games like Sonic Fire and Ice or Sonic Boom, which is absolutely atrocious? No,
because
I'm saying
the source material will always lead the movies. Like the people who watch the movies are casual fans, but like the hardcore, you always have to maintain the hardcore fan base. If you lose your core,
they don't care about the main. They don't care about the fan base. They haven't cared for us for years. That's what we got.
Talk about it, Ace. Let it know. You got a lot of hurt. Come on, talk about it.
Nah, I got a lot of hurt from Capcom and Mega Man, but that's a different story. But it's just one of those things. It's just I do not feel like. I mean, this is a make or break Sonic the Hedgehog video game wise for me, because unless you're gonna go back and do stuff like Sonic Mania, which was a fan made game. I mean, they got a fan that was a huge fan of the Sonic series to be able to come and help them with their game, and it was a huge success. I mean, I think even you, TBH, as much crap as you talk about Sonic, you got to say Sonic Mania was a fun game. It was much better than to say. Okay, no, all right.
I don't like Sonic Mania. I said the music's fire in it, but I don't like Sonic.
All
Mania.
right. Well, I knew you. I
didn't like the level design in that game.
Okay, well,
I'm being dead ass serious, by the way. I'm not a fan of Sonic.
I know. You're not an ally. I knew it, but I just think that
this man is really a Sonic. That was like the most Sonic shit I've ever. You're not a Sonic ally. What the? All right, Deviant Art Ace.
If they don't, I feel like if they don't get right by this game, I just feel like it's gonna look crazy for them to continue to make Sonic games. I get your point though, as far as especially because the movies are hitting. That's one thing they got right. They got the movie right, and it works very well. And now they got a Netflix show coming out and everything along those lines. So I'm sure that's only going to add more to it. So I'm really looking forward to Sonic Frontiers. I think it's going to be a different take on Sonic. And I mean, you only get to see until you get your hands on it. So hey, shout out to Sega.
It is looking better though. I think the last Sonic game I genuinely enjoyed was Sonic Generations.
That was fire.
Frontiers is looking better the more that they show it. It might be the first Sonic game to come back from a 3-1 lead, because IGN was in the lead with those bullshit ass trailers they was dropping, but the stuff Sega's been dropping has been much better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I hope Sega learns to not get. I partially blame IGN, but I also blame a lot on Sega, because Sega was the one that said, "Yeah, go ahead and use that for the world premiere." That shouldn't have been a world premiere. That was a terrible world premiere. I'm sorry.
After that Cuphead gameplay, like IGN should not be getting any world exclusives in terms of like breaking gameplay. They don't know how to use the A button to jump. What the fuck?
Facts.
But it is what it is. It is what it is. 9 Titanfall maps are rumored to be coming to Apex. Some data miners data mined Apex's source code, and they found that there were code for different Titanfall maps that'll be playable in Apex. Is this enough for you, Ethos, as a fan of the Apex
get
universe?
This bullshit out of here.
I'm trying to talk about the Apex universe.
Nah, fuck out of here.
The Apex universe?
No, fuck that shit.
I say that as I sit next to a Titanfall helmet.
Fuck that game.
I personally don't really care about this. I just want Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
I feel like Apex is kind of like, I still hop on it and play it. Like, I enjoy it here and there, but like it kind of ran its course for me. It's starting to feel like it's been 3 going on 4 years now.
Pissing me off with this bullshit, bro.
What a fucking nerd.
It took you long enough.
Fucking tired.
Me getting tired of it?
Yeah. Took you long enough.
Wait, didn't you just beat like the 8th Yakuza game in a row? What are you talking about? How are you gonna tell me about what I should be tired of?
At least they're different games.
No, they're not, bro. The story's different. The gameplay's the same.
Tell him this nigga ain't played one fucking Yakuza. He talking about they're the same game.
Gangbangers. I don't hear that shit.
Yo, cut the motor, cut it.
Oh, I hear that shit. Let's talk about the Logitech handheld. Fucking Logitech. It was rumored they were coming out with a handheld, and it's revealed it's real. It's called the Logitech G Cloud Gaming Handheld. It launches this month. It actually came out on the 18th. It launches at $350. It has NVIDIA's streaming service on there. You can use the Xbox Cloud Gaming streaming, the Game Pass basically, and then it runs Android games as well as you can watch like YouTube and stuff. 1080p, 60 frames per second, $350. You guys think this is worth the money? Like design?
No, but people are gonna buy it.
Are people gonna buy this?
The stunt, yes.
Absolutely. You I'd rather just get a Steam Deck at that point, because then you can run the games natively off the hardware. This is just purely streaming. $350 to stream Xbox Cloud games. You can do that on your phone with an Xbox controller.
That's also facts.
I feel like this was an attempt at a cash grab, and they should have made the price cheaper if this was going to be just a streaming device, because the Steam Deck is a much better device. It does much more.
Yeah, it should have been like $100. It can play Android games as well as like stream AAA games with the various like cloud services. Then I would have been like, okay, if I have a kid and they don't want a Steam Deck, or I don't want to buy them that because I feel like that's too much, or like they don't want to switch, this might be a viable option, because there are a lot of quality mobile games. Play a little Marble Snap, a little, Plague's Tale with the Game Pass, stream it. But $350 to play something that doesn't work unless you're at home or at Panera Bread, I'm good off of that. You picking this up? You got Steam Deck, Ethos?
What was it again?
Logitech G, the handheld, $350 stream, 12 hours battery life.
Hell no, that rip off. I'm good. I got a Steam Deck.
Okay. Well, it's nice to see Logitech is at least trying something different, as well as Elgato. They're all just trying different products and just trying to get out there. I guess that's all I got of the gaming news. Moving into the social justice warrior section of the podcast, JG's favorite section. One of the biggest stories that's come out since the last podcast is TwitchCon, one of the stinkiest places on earth. TwitchCon is a large gathering where Discord kittens get together and they romanticize a bunch of irrelevant shit. But one of the biggest things that happened during TwitchCon was there was a ball pit, and they got to play like a little gladiator game where, you know, one person stands on a platform, the other one stands on the platform, and they hit each other. But the problem is when they would hit each other and they fall into the ball pit, apparently it wasn't much padding because people were falling on the concrete ground. One lady broke her back, another one dislocated her knee, another one like hurt their arm or whatever. I mean, now people are talking about possibly Twitch being in trouble. What happened, JG? What caused the TwitchCon ball pit scandal?
These dumbasses signed an NDA and they got hurt. That's what happened.
I heard NDAs don't protect negligence though.
Yeah, they were definitely negligent.
Waivers, I mean.
But I bet you they still got passed because of the waiver. You had to sign it in order to participate.
You know, you want to hear something funny too about that whole situation? I have a connection to it. So there was like a 50-50 chance that I was supposed to go to TwitchCon, and that thing that happened at the ball pit, I was supposed to be involved with that. It was I got offered a like a sponsored gig, like working that little booth right there, and like supposedly I would have been playing in that damn. I could have fucking dislocated my damn knee basically if I would.
They were trying to get all of us. They were trying to get all of us in there. They're trying to get the podcast crew in there, but they weren't. Well, at least for us, that it may have been something different. But for us, they weren't paying, and Aaron was pissed about that. He was like, "What the fuck? Like, we're not going to that. It's not even worth it." And then once I found out, I was like, "Oh, this is that event." I was like, "Oh, hell no, we weren't gonna go to that."
Guys playing. You protect.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do this on my own.
There's a bunch of other foolishness that happened, but I didn't want to put that on the notes. Like, I'm not really trying to go down that path. What's the name?
You want them to attack you on Twitter? Go for it.
Yeah, I'm good off of that. I don't know if we talked about this last podcast. Did we talk about the YouTuber that got exposed for leaking the new Assassin's Creed?
Probably not.
I'm not sure.
I feel like we didn't. Just in case, let me share the story for those who haven't heard. So Assassin's Creed Mirage, that's the new one that got announced. It leaked like a few days before with all the details, and there was a YouTuber that was the one that was leaking it. And the way he got exposed was he was on his burner account tweeting about all the things that he knew about it, because I guess he got to play the game early. And then he was retweeting everything that he was saying from the burner account, and people put two and two together, and they accused him of being the one that was leaking privileged information, breaking NDA. And then he admitted it in a video, and he basically put out a tweet saying, "I didn't know I couldn't do that." And then he also said, "Oh, I want to take some time away to think about my actions," and he apologized. So do you guys think he's actually sorry? What does this mean for the creator economy?
No, he's not sorry. He's sorry he got caught.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. You know the crazy part is,
no, come on now. And Ubisoft is pretty straightforward with their NDAs. We've all looked at them before when we've had opportunities. They directly tell you, don't talk about this. This is what you can talk about. This is what you can't talk about. He did it for likes. He did it for clicks. He thought, oh, I'm gonna get big of it. He risked his entire quote unquote gaming career with other potential companies by doing this, because now no one's gonna give him hands-on work.
Oh yeah, he's done. He's blackballed. I see PR people on my Twitter all the time joking about that. Be like, it's funny how creators don't know that, yo, you fuck one of us over, we all talk to each other. You're gonna get blackballed by the entire industry. And I think what's especially funny about this is this man risked his entire career for the new Assassin's Creed. A new one comes out. It's like Call of Duty, bro. A new one comes out every other year. What the fuck, bro?
It ain't even that serious.
All right, come on, at least leak some good shit, nigga.
But to quote the great Offset, they doing it there for clout. They doing it there
for clout. That's fucking crazy.
God, that's ridiculous. But yeah, this is like you said, he just he just sad that he got caught. You know, you got to put out the apology video, right? You got to cry and, you know, put on the sad face and
Take
and
off
do
the glasses. Let them know you're really serious.
yeah, whatnot. So he's done. Yeah. Ethos, you gonna let him play Samurai Zero though? You gonna let him get exclusive access?
Make him sign NDA.
Yeah, man. He'll be good. He's not gonna leak anything.
He not gonna leak nothing. Maybe I can sue him. Put him under a contract before I do it.
Oh my god.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Get some money.
That's crazy though. That man made a burner account and just retweeting himself like nobody was gonna notice. Like,
Why would you want to retweet yourself from a burner account? Like people were following that burner account too. Like what?
it was just the timing on
right?
stuff. I think that's why people figured it out because he would tweet it and then instantly switch accounts and retweet it. And it's like, bro, how are you instantly getting this info?
He was feeling himself. He was feeling himself. Gotta be. Ain't no way.
It is what it is, man. That is the internet. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to the show before we wrap this one up that I forgot about?
Nah, because the other stuff we could potentially talk about is a little too controversial. I know you're trying to stay away from it. So
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Nah, I'm good off that conversation. Ethos?
Nope.
All right, cool. Well, you are our guest, Ace. So you got the show floor. What's your closing statement for Game and Illuminaughty episode 134? Go.
Just appreciate you guys for having me through. It felt good just talking with you guys about games and everything like that. Feel free to go check out GIupdates.tv for all Gaming Illuminati content. Support the homies and whatnot. Be sure to go check out Gamerflex Podcast, a podcast where you can be able to enjoy your favorite video games, but also making sure that your health and fitness is a priority as well. Shout out to you guys for having me, and y'all stay safe out there. Stay hydrated.
Ethos, you got the show floor. What's your closing statement for Game and Illuminati episode 134? Go.
Shout outs to all the Bleach fans. We're eating.
Okay, anyways, that's for nerds. JG, closing statement, episode 134. Go.
shout out to Ace for being on time for the pod. I think this is the first time you've been on the pod as Gamerflex too. So we got a new guest, technically.
Technically.
Yeah, technically. I'm still sick, but you know, I power through the pod. So if I sound funny, then you already know why. But we want to keep rocking.
My closing statement is just shout out to everybody that's been showing love. The last podcast went crazy in terms of like views. So keep supporting, guys. Hit the like button. Keep sharing the audio version, rating it 5 stars. We really appreciate you. If you made it to this part of the podcast and you're watching the video version at youtube.com/GI updates, spam in the comment section Gamerflex if you made it. We want to see how many of you guys made it to the end of the episode. Make sure to follow Gamerflex on Twitter. Other than that, that's all we got for this show. We appreciate y'all listening, and we will see you on the next episode of the Game and Illuminati podcast. Peace.